Hi friends! So today I am going to be talking about a moment of mine that Dave Ramsey likes to call my sick and tired of being sick and tired moment. And that he generally describes as the moment where you are just fed up with dealing with your finances the way that you have always been, and it's like your breaking point where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do things better from now on. My friend Christy at the former Mrs. Jones has the best story for this. You'll have to go to her channel, do the full one, but she didn't have any gas in her car and she didn't know if she was going to be able to fill it up. She was just not managing her money well, and she tells it so much better than I do, but she just had a break. And so if you haven't watched that, I'm going to find that video and I'm going to link it below because that is an amazing video. It is super inspiring. All of her stuff is. So this collab is from Marianne from Shopping Crafty. You may not have heard of her before. She's got kind of a tiny channel, but I'm not sure why because she's absolutely amazing. I cannot encourage you enough to go check out her channel. She is a Los Angeles based actress actually who is doing the Dave Ramsey plan, and she is doing basically trying to launch her career as an actress while budgeting and cash flowing and doing things on the cheap. So I end up watching videos of hers like where she gives you tips on like how to, what to spend on like headshots. And I watched this whole video of hers on how when to spend on headshots and tips on how to find the right photographer, which would never ever apply to me, but she's so interesting. I just can't get enough of her. So absolutely go check out her channel and subscribe to it because she is so sweet and she deserves more subs. Okay, so my sick and tired of being sick and tired moment, I think I've addressed on this channel before, maybe a little bit. I was working in Columbus, Mississippi, which is where I went to college at Mississippi University for Women. Whoop. And while I was in college, I worked for the local daily newspaper. And then after a while of working there, I moved to the weekly newspaper, and it was called the Columbus Packet, and they're still going. They're kind of a crime tabloid, like blood and guts all over the cover. And my best work there was a full cover photo and a story, and the title was "I'ma bite yo finger off," which was a direct quote from the thing that I responded to. It was an amazing place to work. I learned more there than I think I have at any other newspaper I've ever worked at because we were chasing police scanners, which is not the point of this collab. But I was working there and I got laid off. It wasn't because they didn't like me. I was actually running their lifestyle section. It was just they were having some real financial troubles at the paper, and they decided to go in a different direction. I'd set up this great lifestyle section, and it was going really well. And they basically decided that they could maintain that with somebody else and be paying them a whole lot less than they could me, which I'm sure was a hard decision because my former publisher there, Colin, and I are still good friends. I know he wishes me the best of luck in the world, and I'm the same with him. He's actually moved on from newspaper publishing since, but he's a great guy. I know that was a hard decision for him, and I know it was very hard for me because I was out of work for almost 5 months. Now, I did have unemployment because I was not let go due to any fault of my own. But at the time, I had just been kind of taking my paycheck and cashing it and, paying my bills. And I'm horrified to admit this, but my mode of savings at the time was taking just like a couple of 20s from each paycheck when I cashed it and putting them in the freezer. And that was my savings account. I had a real bank account, but that was like my secret savings account where I didn't think that I told myself I wouldn't think about it. And I wasn't really budgeting, obviously. I'd heard about the Dave Ramsey plan at this point. I had been kind of getting into it. I'd set up some budgets, but I hadn't been following them. And all of a sudden I lose my job. I'm only getting unemployment at this point. And the fun thing about unemployment is that if you do work, then you have to take that income, you have to report it, and you have to take that income away from what you earn on unemployment. So it's actually better to get the full unemployment and be working on getting a real job instead of trying to fill your time with little piddly jobs that'll supplement your income, because you can't supplement your income. Any income that you make has to be reported and it gets taken away from the unemployment. So that was a fun thing I didn't know about before I was on that. And so when I lost my job and I started really looking at my numbers, all of a sudden I had all this time. I was applying for jobs all over the place, but I wasn't having any luck. Despite my experience in newspapers, for some reason, I just wasn't having any luck at it. And I got to spend all this time with my budget. And I started having to really implement it and reconcile it and go by it, because I wasn't going to make it otherwise. I had to still pay my rent. I had to still pay my bills. And even though I'd cut everything down to the minimum, it was to a place where I was barely getting by. And that was my breaking point. When I got the job offer to move down to Hammond, that was when I said, I'm gonna do it right this time. I will never be in this position again where I am worrying about being able to pay my rent or buy food, or just like be in a horrible mental state because I can't do anything other than sit here and stare at the walls and apply for every single job I can possibly find, and just worrying and wondering where I'm going to be next and where I'm going to go. And that fear, that unrest has set in me. It's somewhere like back here, I think. And I still have that worry of, what if I lose my job? I mean, my job is secure here. I don't think there is going to be a situation where they would just say, hey, you don't have a job anymore at this particular newspaper, unless they were to be like bought out or something, which once again is something I couldn't control, something from up above me, but it wouldn't be because I'm not doing my job. My publisher seems to be happy with the job I'm doing. But there's still, my newspaper could be bought out. The people that own it could sell it to somebody else who could decide to shut it down or completely, and I could be out of a job tomorrow. I could. And so that little bit of fear that sits right back here is my motivation all the time of get out of debt, stockpile your money, have that emergency fund in place so that you never have to have that fear again. I can still feel it. I can still picture it. I'm tensing up, picturing sitting in my Columbus apartment, just my desk was at the foot of my bed, and Rory was sitting on my bed. I'm just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do if I still can't find a job? I was considering going and working at Taco Bell, because unemployment runs out. And I thought, this might be it for me. I might end up never working in the professional world again. If I can't find a job, I might have to go work retail or something again. Like, I don't have a college degree. And the sick and tired moment sticks with you. So when I had that break and I lost my job, and I thought everything was fine and everything came crashing down on me. When I got the job, it was like a second chance. And I had this chance to do it right this time. And when I went to Hammond, immediately I started doing things right. I was so motivated to stick to my budget because I never wanted to be like that again. I knew I had to get out of debt. I knew I had to do this. And I've been following that since. So if you haven't had a sick and tired moment yet, it's incredibly motivating. I hope none of you have had a situation like that where, you lose your job and you're at the end of your rope and it's just awful. But I will never, ever forget that, because I can still feel it. It's with me all the time, that fear. And I can't wait to be out of debt and have money in the bank so that I never have to have that fear again. If I lose my job in the future, once I'm debt free and have BS3 done, it'll be okay, because I'll have 6 months worth of money sitting around for me to just kind of, all right, take a breather, find work you want to do. There won't be the question of, do you have to go work at Taco Bell? No, I can wait for the job that I need and that I want to do. So yeah, that was my sick and tired of being sick and tired moment. I can't wait to see everyone else's. I don't know if they're going to be as dramatic as mine or possibly more dramatic. I don't know. All in all, I know mine wasn't that bad. I never lost a roof over my head. I never even had to move back in with family or anything, but I was scared. I was, honest to God, scared about where my life was going to go at that point. And it was a big motivator to do better. So check everyone else's videos out in the bar below. I'll be listing everyone. I can't wait to see them. I really can't. And thank you, Marianne, for inviting me to this collab. I'm really excited about it. Bye. Does this ponytail look fake? I feel like it looks like something that's like clipped into my head. It's attached, I promise. It was too loose, so I tied it here. I don't know. I needed it out of my head. Rory kept coming behind me and stepping on my hair. Long hair props, man. Don't forget to tell me about your sick and tired of being sick and tired moment below. I really want to hear about it because those can be so motivating. And has it stuck with you like mine has with me? Does it sit in the back of your brain just like continually motivating you or scaring you into staying on track? Because that's good motivation. Just that fear of being in that place again for me. So don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up because I always forget to ask that. And if I'm going to get debt free in 2017, then I need your help. So tell YouTube by subscribing and by liking and by commenting that you like my videos so they'll give me the more money.